sell. This is the time of renewal. Be strong, and you will be renewed.
Welcome Bitcoin friends, it's Bitcoin Mamo. Today we're going to look at the Bitcoin charts, we'll do some TA, we'll also take a look at market Cipher. So just starting on the 2-week chart, we do have till the end of the week for this 2-week candle. I just wanted to point out the order blocks on the 2-week time frame. You can see we wicked down to this lower order block and we've also wicked up into this higher order block. And now pretty much ranging in between both of these order blocks. These order blocks come from a red candle in an uptrend or a green candle in a downtrend. They're areas of supply and demand. They become of interest later on when we interact with those levels. They can act as support or resistance levels. We can also see that doing the fib retracement from the 29k low to the 69k high, that we lost that golden pocket area, and we have spent several weeks below that golden pocket now, which is quite bearish. Over to the weekly time frame now. These are those 2-week order blocks in yellow. And we also have these trend lines. This one just connecting the overall lows here, and this one connecting the 65k high and this high after this bounce. We were looking for it to act as support here, and we ended up breaking below these trend lines. And on the attempt to regain this lower trend line here, we did get rejected and we have been pushed back down. So we have failed to reclaim this trend line and also that golden pocket area. And we can also see this weekly order block from this green candle in a downtrend. We came up into that and we did fail to close a weekly above it. So we did just open this new weekly candle. And we see that previous weekly candle, we did get pushed back down to around the 38,300 area. The next weekly order block lower down is from this green candle, and that's all the way down at around 34.7 to 35.4. We're also looking at the stochastic RSI on the previous video. We're looking for it to get back above this white dotted line at the 20 level. And I said if we can start closing weeklies above that line, it does give me a bit more confidence that we're going to push a bit higher on this bounce. But we have failed to do that for the time being. We're pretty much at that 20 level. Do also have this possible hidden bullish divergence in play with lower lows on the RSI while making higher lows on the price action. But would need to see a Bitcoin get back above this golden pocket at least for me to think that that hidden bullish divergence is going to play out, and we're going to push possibly towards that 50,000 area and test some of these higher order blocks. We are also still below the weekly EMA ribbon here. We don't want to see this ribbon flip where the yellow line goes below the red line. The yellow line is a smaller moving average. The red line's a higher moving average. So the yellow is more reactive to price. But we see in the past in bear markets, when this does flip with the yellow going below the red line, it really cements that we are in a bear market and we do have further down to go. If we look back on the 2014 bear market here, we can see once this ribbon did flip, it did cement that we are in that bear market and we did go lower before bottoming out. But I want to look at these weekly order blocks in more detail when looking at previous bear markets. Last week we did it when looking at the monthly time frame, and this week I want to do it on the weekly time frame. So this was the 2017 bull run here, went from $1,000 to $20,000, and this is the bear market which lasted all of 2018. We're just going to replay the chart from the peak and mark off those weekly order blocks. So you can see we started coming down here, and then we did form our first order block here from this green candle in a downtrend, and we've just marked that off and we'll keep replaying the chart. And once we came up, we retested that order block, we got rejected and we came back down. We did form this new order block from this red candle in an uptrend, so we'll just mark that one off as well and keep replaying the chart. You can see we came up to test that order block and we got rejected again and we got pushed back down, and we did form this other order block with this green candle in a downtrend, and again we'll just mark that one off and see how we interact with it. So we did get pushed back down, we came back up to test that order block and we got rejected from that order block also. We did make a new order block with this green candle in a downtrend. Again, we'll mark that one off and keep replaying the chart. We can see we came up to test that order block and we did get rejected. We got pushed back down, and we have one more order block here with this red candle in an uptrend. And we can see how we interact with that order block now. We can see we are inside it, and then we got a big rejection back down. And we came down to the bottom of the bear market. We have one more order block here with this green candle in a downtrend, and we'll keep replaying the chart. This was the start of 2019. You can see we tested it, we got pushed back down, tried to get above again, and eventually we did break above it, and that's when we started having some bullish price movements to the upside. So you can see how key these weekly order blocks were here. Each time we formed one, we came up and tested it and got rejected. And we did this all the way down in this bear market. And once we did reclaim one of these key weekly order blocks, after bottoming out here, this was actually a 3-month period below this order block. Once we did reclaim it, we had that bullish price movement. So I think that was just important to look at. And when looking at our current price data here, we can see we had a weekly order block with this green candle. We tried to use it as support. Once we did break below it, we weren't able to reclaim it. We did wick close to it here. We formed another order block with this green candle. We came down, we came back up to test that order block. We weren't able to reclaim it. Now we're getting pushed back down again. So just something to watch for there. This is a typical bear market behavior where we get rejected off these weekly order blocks after losing them. And we will need to start reclaiming some of these weekly order blocks to get a bit more confidence that we're going to push higher and test the next order block. And again, we do have quite a clump of weekly order blocks here to get above, all the way up to 50,000. Let's go down to the daily time frame now. We have these same trend lines, and we also had that falling wedge pattern that we were in for several months. We did break to the upside. Now we have pretty much come back down to the breakout price level. You do see we came all the way down to 37.3, and we did get a nice bounce here, currently at 38,900, and this was the golden pocket area when doing it from the 33k low to the 45.8k high here. This will be a key area to hold. We can see we have these daily order blocks. We did wick down to this lower order block here, and I think if we lose these order blocks, then we'll possibly come down a lot further and possibly make a lower low here. Could look for bullish divergence if we make a lower low on the price action, looking at the bodies of the candles, which the RSI uses, while making a higher low on the RSI. But we'll have to see how Bitcoin responds to these order blocks first. We do have the support of that golden pocket and these order blocks. And just looking back at the RSI, we did actually have a bearish divergence here at the top. We can see we made higher highs when looking at the bodies of the candles and making lower highs on the RSI. That has played out, and we have had this drop back down. The stochastic RSI has completely cooled off, and again we need to see it get back above that 20 level to give some confidence that we are going to have a bounce. We are also below the daily EMA ribbon here. We can see we did get above it. We did open and close a candle above it, including the wick, but this ribbon didn't manage to flip with the yellow going above the red line. And so it gives less confidence that it's going to hold as support when we do go above it. We do need to see it flip with the yellow going above the red. And when that happens quite often on pullbacks, it's quite a good long opportunity. As we can see, looking at the 29k bounce here, we got above the daily EMA ribbon. The ribbon flipped with the yellow going above the red, and the pullback came to the top of the ribbon, and these were good longing opportunities. Looking at the CME Bitcoin futures chart now on the daily time frame, we can see we did have this gap here, and we did come down and fill that gap, and then we did make a new gap with Monday's open here. And we did pretty much come up and fill it. I would say this gap is filled, but I want to point out on the stochastic RSI here on the daily, we can see it's coming down and still has a bit more to go here to completely cool off down to that 0 level. Well, on that spot price Bitcoin, we saw we were already at that 0 level and looking to get back above that 20 level. So we may stay down in those areas for a bit longer as the futures daily stochastic RSI cools off all the way down here. And down to the 4-hour time frame now. This is that falling wedge pattern we broke out of. And we can see that golden pocket area where we have currently had this bounce. We can see an aggressive sell-off here and then a quick bounce back up. And we did actually make a bullish divergence on the 4-hour time frame. We can see higher lows on the RSI while making lower lows on the price. And we have gotten that bounce. These divergences are usually better over a bit of a gap here rather than these over a shorter time frame. But it did result in this bounce that we can see currently. And over to market cipher now. This is on the 4-hour time frame. We can see we've been getting a couple of yellow X's here, which can indicate manipulation. Often it can result in a drop, but it can also sometimes indicate the bottom on a correction. We can see the money flow has gone into the red here quite deep. We are getting these green and red dots. This blue wave hasn't been able to get back to that 0 line. The 6-hour has also dipped into the red money flow. We do have a green dot here that was confirmed, but this has also been a bit choppy with the green and red dots. So we can look at the more higher term time frames. This is the 12-hour time frame. We are still in the green money flow here. This blue wave has come down. We are looking for a green dot on the other end. We did get this blood diamond here, which can indicate a big drop coming. And we did see that that did play out. We had this drop back down. I think if we can get a green dot here while the money flow is still in the green, we would expect at least a small bounce. Not necessarily a higher high, but at least a bounce off of that. Just looking back on the last blood diamond here, we can see it did indicate a big drop. And we did just keep dropping after that. The daily time frame now, we are still in the red money flow. We did try to curve around here and come back up into the green. We did have this drop back down, so the money flow is still in the red. This blue wave is coming down and looks like it has a decent amount more to go on it. So I do think this is going to go for a few more days before we possibly see a green dot. Again, we look for that green dot on the 12-hour first and then the daily time frame. The 2-day time frame did get this red dot, and that's significant because we are in the red money flow. So this is looking quite bearish, and the 3-day is quite worrying. We did get a red dot here. We are in the red money flow. This blue wave wasn't able to cross above the 0 line. But we also have this blood diamond, which did just get confirmed on today's open. And just looking back at previous blood diamonds, the last one we got on the 3-day time frame is at around the 56,000 level here. And it did result in this big drop down to that 29K area. We don't get them very often on the 3-day time frame. We did get one here in this 2018 bear market that we looked at previously. It did indicate the end of that dead cat bounce. We did come down lower, and we also got one here, which wasn't as significant, but eventually we did drop lower. And we also see one here in the 2014 bear market on one of these dead cat bounces. And we did end up going quite a bit lower. So that is a very bearish. It has been confirmed. So just be cautious that we could possibly have a bigger drop down here, possibly to test the lows here at 30K. The 4-day does also have this red dot, but it's not confirmed until tomorrow's open. And the weekly, we did get that green dot. It did get confirmed, but with this move back down, we have gotten a red dot here. It's not confirmed until the end of the week, so there is plenty of time to go on that one, and we'll have to wait towards the end of the week to see how that plays out. But that green money flow is still coming down and getting closer to being in the red, which is typical of bear markets after having these run-ups. So I think that's about all. Hope you enjoyed that analysis. I think the main chart I'm looking at is these weekly charts and just trying to play these dead cat bounces, looking at the weekly order blocks as possible shorting opportunities, and if we do reclaim these order blocks as a possible long opportunity to the next order block. But we'll have to see what Bitcoin does here. We could make a W shape here, and if we were to get back above the golden pocket area, then I would expect the bounce to continue, possibly up to around the 50,000 area, testing these higher order blocks. But we'll have to see how it plays out. If we do go lower on the daily here, below the previous bottom, looking at the candle bodies at 35,000, and we do get that bullish divergence with lower lows on the price and higher lows on the RSI, and that would also be a good longing opportunity for a bounce. So I think that's about all. Thanks for watching. I'm Bitcoin Mamo. I'll see you next time. Bye.